No, your kids came in here and started plugging stuff.
Who?
Your kids.
My kids.
My kids aren't allowed in here. Kyle, are we rolling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. How are you gonna figure it out?
I think so.
Yeah. You said you're gonna try to rally.
It's been a day.
You wanna promise these people a rally?
I'll be my most upbeat self.
See, this is the whole behind the curtain. People are getting a peek behind the curtain of what content creators. Are you okay with that thing?
I don't know. I'm trying to like lean back. So I'm comfy.
You think it's gonna be good for your energy if you lean back? Maybe you need to be more leaning forward, just to have positive energy.
Upright energy.
Upright. Yeah, shoulders forward. Deep breaths. I'm on my day 3 of meditation.
How are you feeling?
Zen? It's interesting. Because it's all just breath work for me. And I'm at 15 minutes. I'm already doing 2 days in a row at 15 minutes. And I started with 10. And what's interesting is how I could do 10 easily. 15 is hard. Like my mind goes, am I almost done with this? Can I be done breathing? Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I feel after it's done, because of all the breathing, I feel as if I just got like an hour-long massage. I do. I truly feel, how like when you come out of you're like kind of loose.
Relaxed,
you're loose, you're relaxed. You're like, That's exactly how I feel.
Your body feels good.
And at first I was like, I wonder if I'm just going to have some kind of placebo thing where I'm doing something that's beneficial for me. But truly, and I know this, is I think because I'm so hyper driven and constantly trying to juggle so many things at once, and I always feel like I'm behind, that it's almost as if I'm holding my breath constantly.
So to be able to like releases a lot of tension and stress from you.
To spend 15 minutes of just truly like breathing in and out, like, and holding the breath, it is like, I'm kind of like not buzzed or hype, but I'm just like euphoric as if after a massage. And I'm sure it's strictly just breath work. That's all it is.
Oh yeah, 100%. You see the exhale is like what is super good for your body. That's why they like I've been hearing it's really good when you work out to only breathe through your nose. Do only nose breathing. Don't, like, people even say like tape your mouth.
No.
So that you're only having to use your nose, and they get used to it, and it's actually super beneficial for you because you end up breathing more like out.
No, I think the reason why, and I'll tell you why, because I've listened to researchers about this. Your nasal cavity, and I know this because of being a respiratory therapist, this particular part, your nasal cavity has a reservoir in there, and there is like a circulation of carbon dioxide that you blow off. When you take a breath in, you're only just blowing off the carbon dioxide off of your lungs. So if you breathe in and out through your mouth, you're blowing that carbon dioxide out of it. So you can either hyperventilate or hypoventilate and regulate that. The nasal cavity has a flow of carbon dioxide. So when you take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, you're actually flushing out that carbon dioxide.
What about when you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose?
You're essentially speeding up that flooding of or flushing out the carbon dioxide. I see. They did the same thing. There's I think a sleep study that they did. Christopher something. He was saying about some people can put a piece of tape over their mouth, so their mouth doesn't naturally just open up, and that causes them to just breathe through their nose. My only fear behind that is I'm gonna wake up with like a stuffy nose because of all the moisture coming in and out, and you would get like a bunch of like boogers and whatnot.
I feel like I'm primarily a nose breather.
I know when you're not a nose breather because I'll see you go
at night.
Yeah, I'll see, because I wake up so many times in the middle of the night.
No, I don't know about nighttime. I'm at like in during the day.
You are a nose breather.
I think I've actively tried to, even when I'm running, at least not like super fast running, jogging. I try to breathe in and out through my nose.
Do you really? It's hard.
I try, and then once I usually can last about like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before it becomes really hard, and then I end up like breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth.
I don't know if it's going to do anything if you're just doing it for a workout. I think it has to be like either a prolonged period of time, like sleeping at night, where you're sleeping for 8 hours and you're only breathing through your nose. I don't think you're going
I
to see
think
it.
it's just beneficial. Just try to do it as much as you can, right?
I mean, to maybe practice it, sure. What's the... okay.
You know who's a huge mouth breather?
Beckham?
Our son Beckham.
Yeah, yeah. You can hear him go...
He sounds like he's asleep, snoring, just breathing. It kind of freaks me out.
Really? Why?
Well, because it's so loud. Like, it doesn't sound normal.
It's the child snore. Doesn't he have a double
No,
uvula?
I'm saying...
Doesn't it have a double uvula?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, like, him just sitting on the couch next to me watching, like, TV.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like he's, like, sleeping.
Because the way how loud
snoring.
he is?
He's just so loud.
Well,
I asked the doctor, but
I think it is because of the double uvula. I think it's...
You think so?
No. Because it's an obstruction issue. There's more stuff in the way of airflow. That's what, like, COPD... Not COPD. That's what people like sleep apnea. When it's obstructive, it's a swelling in their throat. Like, more tissue in the way. That's why
that would make a lot of sense.
That's why when they diagnose people with sleep apnea, almost all of it is diagnosed through just, do you snore? If you snore, that means there's flapping tissue that's relaxed, that's getting in the way. That's exactly probably what his problem is. We need to get in there and slice half of that uvula off. I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. Why'd you look at me as
I
if
was like, what?
No.
That's what I'm going to be centered. It's going to be.
No, he's going to be perfectly fine. Unless it starts interrupting his sleep.
Well, that's my fear is that.
Well, no, by interrupting his sleep, I mean, like, he's gonna, wake up or have wake up with a headache or wake up a lot of times in the middle of the night, not have energy. That's usually when people get diagnosed with sleep apnea because they're like, I want to finally sleep better. And if he's not having a problem sleeping, then there's a problem to be had.
I don't know. He's just really loud.
Yeah.
I'm like, Beckham, are you okay? He's like, what?
He goes,
yeah.
What?
It almost sounds like, he's going to need to take like a breath in or something. Or like he's been running.
He's fine.
5 miles. He's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You wanted to talk about style. Is that what you told me?
Well, so I had a couple people when I did like the questions. Stop yawning.
You didn't see a yawn.
That was like 3 times already.
Did my mouth open up?
Your eyes are watery.
No, hold on a second. 3 times. That was my first attempt.
Nope.
Even.
You've already yawned 2 other times. I've seen it.
Nah, run the footage back.
That's true. We have footage. So stop.
Okay. So what about the people that are sending you these preposterous messages?
Well, I had a
Did you know that I'm double mic'd right now? I have my my wireless mic on right now still.
Is it catching?
No, it's not catching, but it's just, I was like, why do I have wire coming off of my shirt?
I had somebody ask me if we are ever going to talk more about design on the podcast, which is interesting because I feel like our podcast we just cover a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to hear that people are like interested more in that specific topic.
You mean to tell me people don't want to hear our opinions on the election?
I feel like we've kind of moved towards
prices.
like health, don't you feel like?
Well, the last couple of podcasts. Well, actually, yeah, with sleep and
in the last maybe like few months, which I mean that's what we're interested in.
Last episode on consciousness.
Consciousness and subconsciousness.
We're 2 the most like unqualified people.
I know. We're just like we think it's this.
Yeah.
Here's what I heard.
I heard they're stealing babies in the middle of the metaverse.
You know why Beckham can't breathe through his nose?
Yeah, because he got
the government
vaccination. So what were you thinking about bringing down on the?
So I figured I was looking up like the 2022 like design trends.
Oh, okay, the modern day trends. Okay.
And I figured it'd be kind of fun to go through them and see like what we think of them.
Is there a difference from 2022 to last year's design trends? Has it changed enough to notice it?
I don't know, but I think there are certain things that I've been seeing and it's on this list. So it'd be interesting to hear what you think.
Okay. Oh, you have a list. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you're prepared.
I know.
This is nice.
This is nice.
I'm going to take the back seat. I'm going to go passenger on this one.
So the first one that, and these are like the top blogs like Vogue and HDTV, like all the big websites that are coming out with these like 2022. And I think these came out like earlier in the year. So it is interesting to see that they were actually pretty on point with like where they were headed. The first one is browns are making a comeback.
Okay, we gotta be specific. You can't just say stuff like that. You can't just. Sometimes you forget that we're recording and you can't talk how you usually talk.
Brown. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. Okay. Shades of brown in the home.
Okay.
This is not going to be good.
No, I think that's fine. That's good. Okay, shades of brown.
In the home are making a comeback. So
when were they originally popular?
70s.
I thought
like brown walls.
I thought
brown
anytime
carpet.
in the fall people were like put up, leaves.
No, like as in like a whole wall. People are painting their walls brown.
Interesting.
Maybe I should have started with that. Please don't clip that.
Clip it.
No.
Russell, clip it.
No.
Irina said the Browns are coming back.
So, stop.
I can't.
So specifically like, well, because like leather's always been in, I feel like. Yes. So that's like a form of like the camel-y color. Oh my gosh.
Now you said brown, but then you said camel, because camel is a shade of brown. But are you implying when you say brown, is it camel really?
Well, it's all like
the
tones.
family
yeah.
of the.
I'm trying to find my my note. Oh, so specifically like chocolate brown, which I've seen a few people do, like a wall or an accent wall or a whole room brown now.
That's it.
Very interesting.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I like it or not, because it seems like there are certain people that have pulled it off, but you have to do it in a very particular like way. Like it has to be that moody feeling. Like you can't have like a chocolate brown wall and then have like light colored furniture.
And it can't be like a high gloss
chocolate. Yeah, don't make it chocolate.
So I can't. It's off the cuff. It sounds like a wild idea, but the reality is like we have a room that's a green color.
That's true. So like in
that olive green.
But people have always loved, I feel like, green. It's just the tone of green has changed, like in terms of what people are loving now. Stop.
I was taking a big breath in.
Through your nose.
Anytime I work and then we have to sit down to record, you know how I am.
I'll show you a picture. So,
yeah, I'm actually curious to see what this.
It's, I feel like, obviously it looks different than like back in the 70s when it was like bright orange rug with like brown walls, right? It's not that kind of retro feeling, but it's definitely a moody
are you
color. Yeah, I'm finding it.
This is not the way to do this on a podcast. I'm ill-prepared.
I'm not
okay.
ill-prepared.
Not ill-prepared, just taking time to. Okay, so...
Like a chocolatey brown.
It is a chocolatey brown. This is interesting, actually. Do
you hate it or do you love it?
Neither. I don't hate it and I don't love it. I like the wainscoted or board and batten looking style back wall behind the bed. And I like that how big the windows are with it. The ceiling might be a little much for me, but I don't know what you would do. So you kind of would have to keep it. I will say this, I like this shade of brown. It's more of like a leather jacket.
You have to like pick the right one maybe, because
this almost looks like a plastic brown.
Because I think, people lean more towards that camel-y color with like leather and stuff, but to paint a wall brown, that's bold.
That is very bold, and that person is a very bold person, meaning like a lot of their stuff is very bold, and they take risks, and it obviously works the way they do it because it's very artistic. Being able to take something like that and make it like really cool, like that's
true. And maybe that's what kind of the theme of 2022 design trends is doing things that are a little bit more bold and different than what anything that has been done, like pushing the envelope even more.
Well, yeah, I mean,
if you think about it, isn't that kind of what people are doing now?
Not only people, I think there's mavericks in every group of category, whether it's a comedian, an actor. How's an actor a maverick? Well, they might take some controversial roles, or they'll play a psychopath, or like they're not the hero of the story. They're the bad guy, and they have to convince people. Or they'll be like people like Tom Cruise, who will perform his own stunts. So they're pushing. He's being a maverick. He's pushing the envelope.
He is Maverick.
Right, he is Maverick. Oh, that is nice. I didn't even think about that. You have people. By the way, Top Gun, one of the best movies of all time.
The second one is
yeah.
good.
Nobody liked the first one, I heard.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's why they had to come up with the second one, because nobody liked it.
Nobody liked it.
The stand-up comedians do the same thing. They push the envelope on the types of jokes, and then it falls onto, well, there's plenty other people, but then I think it also falls on interior designers, where you have so many accounts on Instagram that are design accounts, and I've spoken to you about this before. A lot of them they all kind of look the same. I mean, they're all very pretty. They're all very attractive to designs and styles and pages. But I could name off the top of my head, not name, but imagine already 10 off the top of my head of like when you scroll through their page, they had the whites, the little bit of olive green, the little tan books, texture there. You know what I mean? They're all so similar. And then you have Mavericks in design who goes, you know what? Hold my beer. Let's paint that entire wall brown, the entire room brown, but then also make it look so good that you want to. That's ask yourself if you love it or hate it. Yeah,
such an art. I feel like I like the idea of being bold, but then I'm like, I always tend to like go towards what I feel is safe.
Do you think it's this particular account? Do you think a person like that, because they have a staff that work with them, they have a pretty big team. Do you think, kind of like Joanna Gaines has like 12 or 16 stylists and designers that work with her and help her? I don't know to what degree the collaborations are.
Right.
But do you think a person like that, to pull off this like pushing the envelope move, do you think it's a team effort of designing that, or do you think it's a sole person going, boom, here's my vision?
Ugh, that's hard to say. I would feel like it would be a team effort, because how could you create so many different things outside the box all on your own? But
you have people like Picasso.
That's true, but there are people who just are so talented. So I don't know. That's hard to say.
Yeah, I personally think, and I might be completely wrong, but I personally think that's a person who has a collaborative team effort to feed ideas off of, who say we have a challenge, kind of like
brainstorming together.
Well, imagine it's like they have modified cars, right? Like that are like award-winning modified cars, and it's not just one person for the most part. It's not one person who's like running and gunning the thing. It's a collaborative effort of people going, oh, it would work really well with the interior, this material, we have it in this kind of thing, and we're sourcing the shifter lever from this, and what if we expose the linkage? It's a collaborative thing, because you might have an overall vision, and that vision might be very like not generic, but very wide, but really vague, right? That's the word I was looking for. But I think you need a group of people to come around and say, okay, here's how we can execute it. Kyle and I, I've kind of pitched him in the last couple of years of work together slowly, like what I'm going for, and then but I'm dependent on Kyle too, to like say, hey, but what if we did this? And that's, I think, in every project, major project, there's a collaborative team effort that comes in. Even when you and I do, when in your role here is, I'll give you an idea of what I want to go for, either storyline or thumbnail, and then you'll run with it, and then we'll just kind of feed off and tweak it here and there. So I don't think it's
two heads are better than one.
Two heads are better than one. So I don't think that's a single person running and getting it, but I think it's a single person who is leading the charge on.
Yeah.
And that's
How do you feel about vintage pieces?
I like them. I really like them. Now, the vintage has kind of been I feel was been redefined recently with vintages, because when you and I got married 10 years ago, it was a lot of like Polaroids, like physical Polaroids, and like a retro kind of vintage.
The vintage.
And now vintage is almost becoming like a antique, yeah. Victorian, maybe, a lot of those like grooves, in
intricate, yeah. I think
fluted
now,
right?
vintage is now in that category of like thrifted stuff. So like I think there's a big design trend now of thrifted / vintage items that people are like really into. So they're trying to find these like pieces and either like resourcing them, so repainting them, sanding them, making them their own.
Give me an example of a thrifted thing, because thrifted, I could
Like a end table or a coffee table. People will buy those.
But what's the style of it though? Is it an antique style?
Usually it's like more antique looking, like darker woods. Yeah, it has a lot of times these pieces.
Whoa! I thought you didn't like darker woods.
I know. I like the vintage look. I am a little bit more picky, I think. I'm going to start counting. That's number 7.
No, stop. I work hard.
I don't know. I have a hard time with vintage stuff because some of it's beautiful, like art pieces. I think vintage art is beautiful. There are some furniture pieces that I see people for sourcing from like thrift stores, or they'll actually like there's websites that are all dedicated to vintage. They like find vintage items and then sell it on their website.
Do you think
people look for those?
Do you think the appeal is like a one-off thing?
Yes, one of a kind. That's exactly it. People are, it's that whole pushing the envelope of like, I have this one of a kind piece. Nobody else has it. It's like different. Because in this day and age with like, we all shop at Target. We all buy the Studio McGee decor. Everybody has the same things in their house. You go to somebody's house, you're like, oh, I have that. I have that.
I was watching some kind of video the other day, and it was in the office, and they had this office desk, and I go, oh, that's from World Market.
You knew.
Because you had it.
Yep.
You had it for when you were saving.
So it's like, but when you have this piece that's so different and nobody else has it, it's like I think that's the draw. People love that. And I could see that part of it where people come to your house and go like, where's that from? That's so cool. Yeah. And you're like, well, I actually thrifted it, so nobody else has it. Huh?
Sorry.
That's how I feel about like the stuff that you build. I'm like, nobody else has this.
Nobody's husband's stressed out and has high blood pressure and drinks.
And I think right now the trend is going that way also because of all the shortages and the delivery times are so long. People just are finding things elsewhere. And so, yeah.
I like that idea too of not the fact that I don't care if it's thrifted. I like the idea that it's a one of a kind, mostly because it kind of plays with the quality is better than some that's mass produced.
Yeah.
Right. It might have a better finish, better, So like the way I'm envisioning is, let's say like 2 wingback chairs, like leather wingback chairs for, a cool hangout spot. Those, I would kind of want them to look and feel a certain way that I don't think you can go get at Wayfair or West Elm, right? Because West Elm used to be the place that would sell these not one-off, but they would sell things that were not your traditional Target kind of stuff. But then everybody started buying West Elm. And so everybody knows where you got it. And that kind of blows. Everybody knows, yeah. But when you kind of walk into a thing and you go, that is a one-off thing or very limited, but you kind of, there's a kind of a cool feeling. It's not that you want to be happy from making people jealous, but you want people like, it's such a nice feeling when they go, I love that so much. And they're like, I want to steal that from you because they know they can't buy it. Right.
And they are asking you where it's from. That means they have never seen it.
And it might not be an expensive thing, but the fact that you have this little hidden gem, I guess that's the way I'd kind of put it.
I like the idea of repurposing something.
You want to repurpose? I've never seen.
No, I like the idea of it. You misheard my words.
Yeah, because I'm seeing you buying this thing and they go, hey,
and I have been seeing that a lot, and that's why I think this trend is like they called it, because I see so many people on Instagram on their reels posting things of like, I found this old stool at the thrift store and here's what I did with it. I see so many of those videos. So I think it's really popping off. And I think a lot of it is, you're not going to be able to find and ship something for like another year if you're interested in it, because shipping time is forever. And also, like cost wise, you're saving so much money, and then it's like your own thing you like kind of made,
It's funny.
To your own.
Do you remember when talking to your parents when we were younger, your mom would say things like how style repeats itself, and many people say that, but I remember your mom saying that. because they'll say, oh, when we were younger, this was kind of the similar popularity. This is, I think, you and I have been married for 10 years. This is the first like full decade that we experience. And style usually like cycles through every 10 years or so, right? So I think this is the first time you and I are seeing something that has had a trend that we saw before and saw it 10 years later. And with us is when we got married, we were just two broke people who wanted to furnish a house that didn't have the money to do it. So we would repaint something that we found or bought
Repurpose,
or repurpose.
yeah.
And so
Remember that dresser we found on the side of the road for free in Seattle?
And we shoved it into, it was like a six drawer dresser.
It was like more of a chest, so it was tall. It was a tall dresser.
It was like a 4 foot tall, and we shoved it in the back of my dad's Prius. Remember that?
And we painted it in, I mean, it was towards the end, it was falling apart, but yeah, it was free. We're like, we need a dresser. Let's take it. We can do something with it.
This style should be called balling on a budget.
We totally repurposed that. That was fun.
That was all you.
I did. I sanded that down.
Yeah.
I painted it.
My dentist is calling me.
Oh, they just called me too.
He's like, did you floss?
Yeah. I was just thinking about you.
I was just thinking
about you flossed today?
Hey, what you doing? Thinking about you.
Thinking about you. Yeah. So I think vintage in a lot of accounts I'm seeing are just finding these, and sometimes vintage is expensive if you're buying from like a company or somebody that's already repurposed it themselves. Yeah. It could be expensive.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about trinkets that are unique? So the same way as if you have, prime example, we have a bonus room that I kind of like wanted to have a certain gentleman's lounge kind of feel. Like I wanted to have like this like moody feel. I wanted this big
gentleman's club,
not a gentleman's club, gentleman's lounge. I want, there's a pool table in there. I want like, I got this big like pictures on the wall. I wanted like a big picture of like George Washington, like an oil painting. Like there's the elk mound up there. And then I have my, like the skull that I hunted for the bears on there. There's a bear rug on the ground. How do you feel about trinkets like that on shelves and whatnot? I
feel like there's a place.
And what is it, in a box? Is that what the place is?
For those items.
Is there a place?
No, I think if you're creating a space that you're creating this like feeling and this mood. I love that kind of stuff. But if you're like adding those things into like a living room where I've already done.
No. The space is like the bonus room. So again, I'm making this place to feel. So the reason I ask is because when we were in Yellowstone, I walked into one of the places, look, see if they have some like quality leather, like wallets or belts and stuff. And they had some Native American stuff. And it was really cool to see like, this tomahawk that's like very tribal and like the way it was intricately like, which I'm assuming it was a handmade, and I was like, I really appreciated, but I didn't know where I could place it. Like I know I wanted it because I really appreciated looking at things like that. It's like a museum essentially, but I didn't know where I would keep it. I was like, well, I'm not going to put it in the garage on a shelf because to collect dust. I'm not going to put it in the living room because it's not going to tell decor. But if you have like a designated, like let's say a bonus room like that, and you're making a certain style there, how do you feel about me adding to like trinkets like that?
So you're trying to get permission.
I'm trying to
bring whatever you want into the bonus room.
I'm trying to get a Japanese
in
katana.
front of everybody, so I can't say no.
Japanese katana sword on the wall.
I feel like if it's done tastefully, it looks good. Like the few things that you've told me that you wanted to do in that room, I think it would look really good. Like I love the skull that you have of the bear on the shelf. I feel like it's, even though a lot of my decor isn't, I feel like it ties in because it's moody. It's that you've got the greens, you've got the woods, and then you have the bear rug on the floor under the pool table.
I slowly
it
want
is
to.
slowly
I
becoming
do want to
your
slowly kind of
man cave.
Well, but I don't want man cave. Man cave has a bad.
It does have a bad connotation.
It's like you're imagining jerseys hanging on the wall and like football helmets.
You want it to be like tastefully done.
I wanted to look like a study. Yeah. Those like rich guys,
like a cigar room.
Well, that's what I mean by gentleman's lounge.
Club.
Strippers, cocaine.
We need
No, but like imagine like a place that like Hunter S. Thompson would go to like write something, or so just like a cool.
But I feel like it's that
cool leather chairs that are like vintage.
That's what I think of. It was like a vintage.
I want like a
dark,
Native American spear on the wall, you know.
Just okay.
I'm gonna push the envelope on this
I
one.
know.
If you're listening to this and you know where I can find this, I want to find like a 4-foot long replica model of the Wrights brothers plane and like suspended from the ceiling over the pool table. So I don't know where to find one, but if you know where I can find one, message me or DM me, because that's something like, or any other kind of plane, but something like that, like a vintage aviation kind of thing. Oh, how cool a T-Rex be like.
Just coming off the wall.
Yeah, a real T-Rex, not a fake T-Rex.
Has to be real.
By the way, you know who I heard? What's that guy that played Nicolas Cage? Apparently, Nicolas Cage spent millions of dollars on a real dinosaur, not bones, but a full dinosaur skeleton in his mansion. It's like a Velociraptor, I think.
Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Like you did it.
Whatever you said.
Just
with
like
the V.
With the one with the V. It goes, ah!
Yeah.
So I like stuff like that when it's kind of like a little museum of things that kind of not necessarily tell a story, but add to the ambiance.
And like these pieces have like meaning or tell a story. I like that. Yeah.
Our friend Yuri and Julia. Yuri is really good about. Julia is like hers is the antique-y, finds. But Yuri, what's cool is when he creates his space, like he had a studio in Seattle, and he's photographers. He had like this small studio, but it was like this leather. What's that style when the leather has buttons pushing like the leather's in?
Tufted.
This leather tufted, broken in, like real leather couch. He had a punching bag from like the 70s, like old school brown leather, like dark leather one hanging, because most of the new ones are like plastic essentially, pleather.
Pleather.
And then he had like old school boxing gloves are hanging off the thing, and he had like a 1970s BMW motorcycle that's cleaned up and positioned. He had it's just like a brick wall,
like well done.
Done.
That's what I mean by this room. I think
Right.
if you do it like in a tasteful way, you're not just throwing stuff like up on the wall, but you make it flow.
Yeah.
I think
My barbershop's
really cool.
like that. There's
Yeah.
like this black and white, it's like brick wall, and it's this giant canvas, black and white canvas of Daniel Craig in a white James Bond tux. It's like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So I want a picture of Daniel Craig.
Now you do. You're gonna hang in front and center, where the kids' pictures are, just right above.
Daniel Craig.
You have Jack and Becca and Harper, and then Daniel Craig. It's black and white. Theirs is black and white
You
too.
said if it's done tastefully.
Very tasteful.
Listen, I would be honored if Daniel Craig, James Bond, was a stepfather to my children. So what else
can
you
make
got?
it happen.
Well, I'm glad I got not permission, but a blessing on this.
Another one is, I guess, but this, and I feel like this has been happening already before this year, but mixing like materials and design styles. So like mixing metals. Have you seen that? So people will
like
now
what,
do
copper bowl or something.
Oh, they'll do like brass knobs on the cabinets, and then like a stainless steel faucet.
Oh, I don't like that. How is that even keeping on design?
I think, like I said before, if it's done the right way, I've seen it look really good. You just have to, you can't have like gold. You have to have the warmer brass, the aged brass. And when you have the stainless sink, people have it look more vintage, where it's not like this like modern looking chrome. You know what I'm saying?
The only way I can kind of imagine is if you have like brass door pulls on your cabinets, and then you have like a copper sink.
So you're saying
I
copper.
can see that.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, but I feel like
whenever it's brass, and then you have
silver,
stainless steel.
yeah.
To me, it tells me you either didn't want to pay the money that to get the like some things are so ridiculously marked up because of the color of the material. So I was looking for a shower.
Right.
So everything in the shower that we just finished is brass, and then the controller for the steam part, right? The little module. Well, it's the original one that came with the thing, and it's stainless steel. And I looked online how much it would cost for a new one. It's $600 just for you just get a copper or a brass thing. So
brass is more expensive too. I feel like it has to be done in the right way. Like it has to be certain things. And I'm gonna see if I can find. Here's a good picture. It's hard to see, but so the poles are brass.
Slide me the
it's
phone.
the same. It's also the same account. That it's more bold. But do you see what I mean about the sink? It's almost like a not like a bright shiny silver.
Well, I think the reason why it works here is because they're treating the faucet as a texture. So that's like a Victorian style faucet. And then the drawer pulls are modern brass. So I think because it's being treated like a texture, you're not paying attention to the different color of it. In fact, it might be a little too much if you found the faucet to be the exact color of the drawer pulls in that same style. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. I think that's why people do the different mixing metals is because you almost want to break it up a little bit. You don't want the exact same color everywhere, right?
But I only think it works truly when the faucet or the thing that you're trying to break up is, and you're going with the stainless steel, direction. I think it only works when it is that Victorian vintage thing because it has the textures of the grooves and all the...
If you're already going towards like more of that vintage look, it works really well.
You can't go get a Moen stainless steel faucet.
You can't do it with modern touches.
Modern, exactly.
As much. Maybe you can prove us wrong, but you people out there. But I feel like, it has to have... like the detailing on it.
Which kind of becomes the texture, right? See, I taught you something right now.
And I still think if you have stainless steel appliances, you can definitely tie in that stainless steel.
That's true.
In other aspects, like we do. We have the stainless steel. Because you didn't want to let me get a new fridge.
Oh, I didn't want you to spend all of our money?
So I had to get
And then you're going to go, hey, hon, we can't pay our mortgage.
Because we bought a refrigerator.
Surprise. That's a write-off. What's a write-off? That's a write-off. Who's writing it off?
The write-off people.
The write-off people. You just buy it and then the government pays you back for it.
I used to think this was such a big no-no. And then people, like you said, the Mavericks.
Yeah.
The way you're trying not to yawn now is making it it's even more distracting. You're doing one of these.
Do you want me to do a full-on? No.
No, it's just funny because you're like... almost like shaking.
I'm like holding in like almost like a burp kind of thing.
Yeah, like you're trying to hold in a sneeze. You're like
I'm swallowing my yawns. Let's just put it this way.
I used to think this was a big no-no with like mixing metals, and even they're saying design styles. People are mixing design styles now. And I used to think that was a big no-no. Like if you're going for farmhouse modern, you have to stay in that style.
I'm biting my lip. What are you talking about?
And now I feel like you go on anybody's page. What's so funny?
You're fired up because you came here in low energy and now you're just fired up.
It's getting me.
This design talk like get you.
You go on anybody's Instagram page and you can't necessarily distinctively say what style their house is. Wouldn't you say that these days? I feel like everybody now has developed almost their own style. And I don't know if it's because of social media has like directed it that way. But I can't define my style. I think it's a mixture of so many different styles. And it's just what I like. And I feel like that's so many people now on at least what I've seen on Instagram. You can't be like, oh, that's farmhouse modern. Maybe sometimes the exterior you can. But inside, people just are now doing what they want. They take a light fixture that's more modern, then they take a table that's a little bit more traditional, and they like tie them together. And I've seen, a lot of times it works really well.
Yeah, well, what's really fun is when it's done so well and everything has its own detail and it's not by the book, that you end up staring at you end up examining every pot and every plant and every detail of a knob because your brain is almost like it's to the brain, it's almost like a museum. And this is kind of exactly why I want to create. It's
all like art. Yeah.
Right. This is why I want to create that space the way I wanted to create it, because what ends up happening, instead of you walk into another, let's say, bonus room and you go, oh, cool, there's a TV on the couch and there's stuff. You walk in and you go, oh, what is that? Is that oh, wow, those are nunchucks. You know, you go, oh, those are boxing gloves.
Is that an airplane suspended from the ceiling?
Is that a vintage, so, and then you keep examining. And I think the same thing happens with these houses when they're designed. That, again, you're going to cop. No, okay.
At least I'm not yawning.
At that point, you're kind of doing the same thing. You go, oh, wow, that's an interesting fluted style, pot plant. And do you have books on your shelves holding up your, wine glasses? You end up kind of exploring. And I think that's the fun part, is exploring.
And now people aren't like, I used to get people ask me so often when I was staging, what is your design style? I can't like pinpoint it. And I would go, I don't know. Really? Because I don't.
Did you get a lot of clients with that kind of
No,
confidence?
People online would ask me.
Oh,
like,
I was like,
when I would post something.
Hey, we'd like to hire you. What's your design style?
Not clients. It was just people would DM me and say, hey, like, what would you describe your design style as? Or like when I would do the questions, that would be like the number one question always.
Interesting.
And I could never answer it because I don't think I have like one specific style.
Yeah.
I'm a mixture of like 20.
Mixture of 20, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are.
And I think people should. I mean,
I love it because you're creating your own unique style. And now everybody's houses look a little bit different because they're creating their own, what they love.
If you could style a room with such little unique pieces and you take a picture of it, I think the successful accounts are going to be the one that people want to follow you, where they look at the picture and they keep zooming in to see, oh, what is that? I didn't notice that little, accent piece or that little detail of the thing, because they're seeing a lot of textures and a lot of,
So many things are like working together. And you love the overall look, but you also want to look at every detail too. And I love those kind of pictures too. Those are like what they call the scroll stoppers.
Oh, wow. Is that what the TikTokers are saying?
Scroll, stop. No, I feel like this is way before TikTok. This term came about.
It came from showstopper, and now this is a
scroll stopper. But I feel like that that was thrown around more before TikTok came around. Now you know.
Shape my content. Be a scroll stopper.
Yeah. Shape it around that. Yeah. So mixing materials and design styles is a check mark. Yes.
We are loving it.
Let's see what else. Apparently they're saying bold patterns and colors are coming back in along with the brown colors.
Well, they're used to the brown stuff.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
That's going to get cut out.
Russell doesn't edit. We keep it raw. That's
Please
what we do.
edit that out. I'm embarrassed. Citrus green was one of them.
What is citrus green the same thing as like the olive green that you have, like plants, like the leaves of a plant?
No.
What's the
citrus green is like bright green.
Lime green?
Basically, yeah.
What are they putting that on?
Because lime is a citrus.
Do you have an example?
Well, if you think about a lime is a citrus.
Correct. So the outside of the lime is that green as a leaf plant, like a fig leaf plant.
Like that. These are citrus.
Those are all
shades
citruses.
Of citrus green.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I'd call them citrus. I would call that more of that olive color.
This?
Yeah.
No, this is not olive. Olive is like a
You're
dark
also
green.
showing me 4 different colors.
Well, because you can...
That's a dark green. That's an olive green for sure. That's a military ODE green.
This?
Okay. This. All right. I'm showing this to the camera. If you guys...
That is not.
Yeah.
That's a bright green. Are you colorblind?
That's not. No, that's not the olive green. Here's the one. Okay, so you showed me this. How is this?
That's not olive. That's yellow.
Well, then why are we calling it? Why is it called citrus green?
Because citrus is
anything
yellow
citrusy?
And green. So it's what they're saying is in between yellow and green. I think
it's an inception of both.
None of those colors are even close to olive green.
Do you want to play that game with like what color is
Google olive green
of this dress? Okay, let's try it.
Oh, the black and gold dress, or no, the blue and gold dress. Wasn't that it? Oh,
yeah.
Let's not go back there.
Let's not cause a war. All right.
Olive green. No, don't try looking for your shade.
This is citrus. This is the outside.
That's not citrus. That's dark.
That's one part citrus. That's the outside of a lemon.
That's like the dark spot of the lime.
But then look how many different olive greens there are.
I know. But do you see the shade? Okay, some of those are way off. Olive
But
green is like
there's a color palette on Etsy with 24 different
greens.
colors they says olive greens, and a lot of these are that's a citrus right there.
Yeah.
According to your
Our bonus room is like a true
olive green.
pretty good olive green.
Sure. I agree with that statement. Would you say that plant leaf is an what color is that? Would you say that's a citrus?
No, that's like
I swear, if you come out with
evergreen.
you're gonna come out with another. I feel at this point you're making up. Is Kyle's hat? Is that citrus?
It's a leaf green.
It's a leaf green.
Citrus.
And so, okay, so those are coming. So are people putting them in?
I haven't seen that anywhere. So that trend could have been.
Is it coming back through certain type of plant colors, or they're putting like?
I wonder if it's because they're greenery and plant and bringing in like the natural elements is a design trend that they're saying.
Why don't you guys bring rocks in? Do you guys ever gonna get to the point where you're bringing rocks in?
Well, the rocks in the sink, remember?
The rocks in the sink.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
People used to do that. They would it was like a design thing where you would have a sink in the bathroom and you put the rocks where the drain is. Have you never seen that? It was such a big thing.
Is this super long time ago?
Sink rocks. No, because I remember even when I started staging, I would see it sometimes.
Really?
People would. Here, I'll show you. Ooh, these are not good pictures.
I'm gonna bring like a handful of dirt and lay it on the shelf and be like, I'm bringing nature into
my house. I'm just rolling with. I mean, this is horrible. Some of them.
You mean some of them
Oh
are
my
good?
gosh! Look at this one, and it says like the rocks say stuff on them. Laugh, dream.
This looks
people
like
had that.
Your kids decided to bring rocks into the house when they were trying to wash them. That's what
it was like a thing. I don't know if it like is like a feng shui thing where
Kyle,
you need like the rocks. Yeah.
This is in.
Sink rocks.
This is in. Pitch this to Nicole. She'll say you're ahead of the curve.
But then there is like an account I follow that they have like a super modern house and they have like a little bit of rocks like doing that in like a modern sink, and I'm like,
okay,
I still don't love it.
That's interesting. Not hiding it anymore.
Sink rocks. And then these are the things people while we're on the topic, that the trends that are out.
Oh really? I'm curious about those. What do you got them?
What do you got them?
What do you got them's right there.
Them's right there.
I should have had a double espresso.
You had a double?
I should have had a double. That was a single.
Wow.
I was trying to play.
Okay, what's out? Open floor plans.
That's out?
I guess.
What? What is Joanna Gaines going to do now?
I don't know. Man, yeah.
Every house gets a wall. So its own dining room. We're going to put it up a wall?
We're going to be putting up walls now. We already started that trend.
That we did.
With our bonus. Let me think. I feel like I'm seeing that more. I could see that being more of a trend maybe next year even.
All right, so, okay, play it out for me, though. What does it look like? Just more, like, smaller rooms?
So, like, in our sense, we would have the kitchen would be almost like its own space, and then you would have, like, a door or a doorway to, like, the dining room, and then another maybe doorway to the kitchen. And it doesn't have to be, like, closed off like a door, but sometimes, you just have less of an open space and more walls. So sometimes people have like an arch.
You can be in independent spaces versus shared spaces.
But
entertaining makes it even more difficult.
I know. I like then you have to go between rooms.
Well, I like the aspect of that because I know what you're talking about. A lot of like the older homes, like the North End homes, they're like that.
Yes.
But the problem with that is it's nice that if you need to escape, you can kind of escape somewhere, right? But when it comes to entertaining, you can't have everybody in the same spot. So if you go, hey, we're serving dinner in the kitchen, let's all grab plates. Well, you got 20 people trying to fit into this kitchen that only supports maybe 12.
Right. I know. And then, and then you like all have to walk to the dining room and then walk back. I think it's all dependent on your lifestyle, because for us, I like the convenience of the kitchen next to the dining room, next to the living room, because with kids, I'm making something, I could see Harper in the living room if she's in there, so I really do like that. I don't think for our lifestyle, closed floor plan or like more of a closed off floor plan would work very well.
But also,
and we like to host.
You can't have a Christmas party and then.
I feel like if we hosted and we had a kitchen that was more closed off, I would feel lonely because I'd be like cooking and everybody else is in like the dining room or living room hanging out, unless everybody comes to the kitchen. Yeah. And if you don't have like a ginormous kitchen, it's going to feel so cramped.
You can always make like time slots for people. Be like, hey, you could be in the kitchen.
You're between 12:15 and 12.
People who have the
17.
green bracelet can. People with green bracelets, it is your time.
Like the trampoline parks. If you have a green bracelet, it's time to go.
There you go. That's exactly a great place to do it.
There you go. But I see why people are doing it, because it's almost becoming these like little rooms where you can make each room its own, and I feel like designers really like that.
Oh, kind of like you're stepping into a completely separate feeling.
Mm-hmm. So you can have like your dining room be like all wallpapered and like a whole different feel. I mean, style wise, probably similar, but it could be a whole different color. It could be, just really fun in there. Versus with this, the dining room's part of the living room and kitchen, so you can't make it its own.
I like making two separate rooms in a house its own completely separate feel. I like that with the powder room. I like making powder rooms like moody or completely like
something totally
it's the same
different.
feeling you walk
into. It's like the accent.
You go to like one of those like really like not super fancy, but kind of fancy restaurants, and then like the bathrooms, they all have like unique art, and they're all dark and they're all kind of moody, and it's very unique. And so I like doing that with the bathroom, what is it? Not the
powder
bathroom. And then I also like doing that in what we did with the bonus room, where you step into a completely different space, a completely different feel.
I like the idea of you have your dining area where you mostly eat, and then having more of like a formal, in which I never liked this before.
Is that where you go to eat more?
Yeah. You have more of your formal or hosting dining room when you have a lot more people over, where it kind of feels like you can hang out there for a long time. I do like that idea.
Yeah.
Because we host a lot and we like having friends over, and sometimes when we have two families over with a lot of kids, it feels very crowded in the kitchen. But if we could have like a dining room its own, like the adults could run away. I agree.
Your parents kind of have that same layup, but they're not utilizing that way. But I like that. Here's the concept that I like. I like exactly what you say. You have a dining table that could fit, 6
just
people.
A typical,
right?
yeah.
Just maybe just two couples essentially, right? Or you're having meals with your family. That's right next to the kitchen. You could easy clean up. But then I also like the idea where you walk through some kind of arch or a little hallway, and then you have like a 12-person long,
so like you could have kids on one end,
table, right?
Yeah, or if you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner, you don't feel like you have to go get extra seating or whatever.
Right.
I like that idea a lot.
So
I think
two dining rooms is
where
we're doing this in the Western world.
That's why we can't host as much as we want right now.
Times are tough. We only have one dining room.
Gosh. Boucle.
What's boucle?
Apparently is out.
What's boucle?
It's almost like that, like sheepskin kind of looking material. No, it's not. It's I'll show you.
Is it that fluffy stuff?
It's like a material here. A Harper's chair is boucle in.
Oh, that looks like the inside part of like a Russell Champion sweater. When you turn it inside out.
But that was very trendy in 2021.
Yeah, we used to turn our sweaters inside out when I was like in middle school.
But Harper's chair is this boucle. You don't like it?
No, I mean it's a cute chair, but I didn't think. I was like, oh, is that boucle? I just thought it was like,
like you can. There's different.
Sure, I think the reason what's really popular is textures. That's what, and so boucle is a texture.
It's a texture, and people really liked it. And I think a lot of the furniture that has been in the boucle fabric has been more curved. Have you noticed like a lot of these are like more the furniture is curved?
I do, yeah.
I do. So maybe that's what people like, but that's out, I guess.
You guys, it's funny, the things that are in, they're not very comfortable. Like some of these little chairs that you guys come up with, They're not very comfortable chairs, but
I know,
versus
but
like you
they're
get like yeah, but it's like I want to
I
read,
know.
but I
It's
want some
always
lumbar
form
support
over
too.
function.
Yeah,
For me, I'm slowly getting better.
you
Right?
are. You are. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. All white, everything is out, which, I mean, it has been for a little bit. I feel like there's still that classic
Like walls.
walls, like kitchen cabinets. People are still doing like not stark white, but you know,
Like an
creamier
off-white, yeah.
white.
I feel like that part is actually fading. I feel like people are transitioning
Doing-
to a little bit more of unique, like a
Yes.
light gray cabinet
Or wood.
whitewash.
People are going back to wood, like a nice, like white oak,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ash. Ash is a nice
ash.
one. Ash is
Really pretty. But I think people are being a little bit more bold in the kitchen areas too.
I like where you're applying the word bold.
bold.
But the next one is gonna be like, you're brave the way you design. You're
You-
just so.
That's the only word I can think of, bold, because you have to have a little bit of, okay, I don't care, I'm going to do it.
It's your house, Art. You just do it.
Because it's scary.
I'm gonna be brave and bold
I'm
and
so bold.
and paint a citrus color.
The last one.
Everybody supporting you on social media. Good for you. Yes, girl. Go ahead.
The last one is like boxy sofas and boxy furniture.
That's out.
So a lot of, and I have noticed this actually.
All of our stuff is boxy.
I know.
So are we getting?
I guess we're getting rid of it.
No, we're not.
No, I think what they mean is like overwhelming amount of everything is square. If you've noticed, I've noticed this. Speaking of the boucle, how everything's like curved.
Right.
I think that's becoming very trendy right now. It like softens things up, and I think people are loving that. Like even sofas. Have you seen like more of the round sofas? They're definitely coming back.
If you get
which is like
us-
a play to the 70s.
very much so. You're gonna tell me the beanbag chair is coming out too?
Probably.
If it's in a
Boucle is like totally going towards that beanbag chair
That's-
look.
I get it if it's like like an accent chair that
Yes.
you're putting in your daughter's nursery room or something like
Yeah.
that. That's fine. But to put in your living room a bunch of rounded over stuff, what's next? Is also going to swivel too?
Yeah, actually, a lot of
Yeah,
people have
look at
the
it. I just
swivel
predicted it.
boucle
This is how-
chairs.
This is how preposterous this is.
I like the idea of having
You know that's
little
hotel
bit.
lobby furniture. That's what that is.
Yes. But I think people like that because it's calming.
Who's agitated?
Are you not agitated by our two square sofas?
Square.
Every time I look at them,
square
I just get
furniture
angry.
is.
I just need something a
I
little
hate
bit
racism
more
and I hate square furniture.
curved. I do. Yeah, I do feel like it does. It does feel like hotel lobby.
It's
The
such a
round,
silly-
like lighter colors. Everything is just
yeah.
curved.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
like
I don't like
it's
it.
like
I don't like it. It doesn't sound
a
comfortable.
warm blanket.
It doesn't sound get a warm blanket. Go put on a sweater.
it doesn't sound comfortable.
Turn the temperature.
That's what I wonder, if it is comfortable or not.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
It's gonna be round.
I'm gonna go hide in my man cave.
Yeah.
My my cigar lounge.
Gentleman's lounge. That's a hard word to say, I guess.
That's fine. Would you? And I've already spoke to you about this jokingly, but so I've always wanted to put in like a ventilation system in that bonus room to like smoke cigars and stuff like that. Would you be opposed to that?
First of all, you don't smoke cigars.
Smoke pipe tobacco.
I don't know.
And I could.
don't
It'd
wanna-
probably motivate me to pick up smoking cigarettes.
cool.
I heard it's like a weight
Cool.
suppressant, like an appetite suppressing thing.
I don't know if I like that idea, to be
Dude,
honest.
imagine this. So we have a black and white photo of Daniel Craig and James Bond. All right.
Next to our kids.
All right.
Of
I
course.
got a cigarette, like just plain pool.
You got a pole
I'm
just
playing
coming
pool.
from the top of
I have
the
an
ceiling to the
ashtray
bottom.
on the side of the pool table. I'm just putting it out. Smoke.
imagine.
And smoke's not ever because there's
Are
an
you
evac
wearing a
system.
leather jacket?
My hair is definitely gelled back.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a full leather jacket because I mean
Are you
we're
wearing
inside the
ripped
house.
jeans?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Are you supposed to wear ripped jeans with leather jackets?
It's vintage. I don't know.
Yeah, it's boho. Is boho out?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But square furniture is in. Boho's out. Square furniture's in.
No,
or
square-
square furniture is out with
curved.
boho. Sorry.
Curved furniture. I think that minimalistic with natural elements is really in. So like stone, like what's the travertine? Is that
Yeah,
what?
that's a stone. Yeah.
A lot of like earthy looking,
Mm-hmm.
colors and textures.
Like after birth and stuff.
After birth.
A lot of
Yeah.
after birth.
Yeah. So if you want to bring in some dirt, just
I told
scatter
you, I'll
around.
do it. Bring
or just in a bowl.
a real.
It will be our centerpiece.
That would
I
be
think it'll
nice.
be beautiful.
It will be. It's like one of those things where you're saying like how abstract it is. Like no, that's just like a poorly painted
That's
picture.
just, yeah. That's just a bad picture.
You paid a lot of money for trash. That's not abstract.
Do you know where this dirt came
Yeah,
from?
this is from Sahara.
Yeah. Isn't it beautiful?
It's from Jerusalem soil. It's from Caldwell.
It's from our backyard.
Oh man, is there more? This is
What's out?
what-
There's one more that
Well,
I can do.
what's the other more?
Non-functional decorative objects,
so
which is all my house is.
so-
Non-functional
non-fun-
decorative object.
So like what? Like a
So they're
like a steering
saying-
wheel? What do you mean?
No, like decor. It's talking about decor. So like all the stuff on my shelves is non.
Oh, like a book. Like you're using a book for decor,
Yeah.
right?
Just like how else do you decorate with functional items? A shelf.
Okay, so my only example is okay. So maybe
Well, let me read the
okay.
excerpt. It's colored candles and useful everyday objects with personality will be replacing futile decorations that have neither meaning or purpose.
Whose personality? The
Yeah,
candle's
but
personality.
but you can't say you're going to replace it with something with personality because that's so subjective. Like
Well, right. So you're gonna
I
be like.
think my decorations that have no purpose have lots of personality.
So is it kind of like is it a mirroring of your personality?
Yeah, I think so.
So if I build, am I gonna put like a handful of screws in a
Yeah.
bowl and say it's part of me? It's
This is part of me. This is
I
a
don't-
beautiful decor.
Yeah.
I know. I don't really
Here's a
understand
backwards
that.
hat because
I think what it's going towards is people are now leaning towards function over form, which you like too. But I see that more in furniture, not decorative. Like the reason it's called decor is it's because it's decorative objects with not. The door's about to open.
nope. Yes. Anything to get them out.
We're 3 for 3 with our kids coming in during podcasts, aren't we?
Is this something we should celebrate?
I feel like it's the trifecta. We've reached it.
Let's wrap it up before I lose my mind with these people because I'm already. What's the round furniture? Curved furniture's name again? It's just curved. Okay, so just like curved furniture is supposed to be a calming effect. Maybe I need to sit on some curved furniture because this episode pissed me off.
Well, we're sitting at a square table, rectangular table. What do you expect?
That's why I'm pissed off.
Look at all this squareness in this room.
Irritated. All right. Well,
Be more round.
it's been silly. That's a silly topic that we just discussed, and we're being a couple of silly goose. But hope
Silly geese.
silly geese. No, still just geese.
Geeson?
Geese. Guys, thanks for listening. We hope you were entertained as we felt entertained by this topic matter.
Very fun.
If you enjoyed these design talks, let us know in the comment section of anywhere, either Instagram or Facebook.
We'll do more.
We'll do more. Until next time, we'll maybe talk about aliens next time.
It's on the agenda.
Agenda. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.